Good morning. Today is day 37 of losing 60 pounds in 90 days. Here's how the body's looking. Today's the day. Yesterday I got some ginger juice. It said to drink it in the morning, and it is the morning now, so I gotta do it. Never had this before, but it is 99% juice, not from concentrate. And this is the kind that I got. Now, whenever weighing or measuring something out, I try and always use a scale, because even measuring devices like tablespoons and cups can be wrong, and it's hard to go by them. Honestly, in my opinion, the scale, the food scale, is the best thing when being completely accurate on anything that I've found. Got a little shot glass from when I was in Cancun. That will be perfect. And I'm basically just gonna set this to milliliters. And that's 30 milliliters. Doesn't smell as bad. This will either wreck my morning or give me great victory. Cheers, people. Ooh. Burns in the back of the... If you ever watch like Hot Ones, where they eat the wings, hot wings, and have a conversation, kind of felt like one of those sensations that they talk about where it's like, I felt fine for a second and then bam, came back for its second lick. Feel fine though. I almost don't want to take my morning drink. My Lulu shorts have a hole in them right in the gooch, so I'm going to try and sew that back together before it gets worse. Eat some brekkie, head to the gym. Fluffy whipped cream cheese on a Dave's Killer Bagel that is cinnamon and raisin. Cream cheese is strawberry flavored. And then on the side is 5 chicken weenies with a couple grams of honey and salt. Now I'm ripping some Baja Gold sea salt, apple cider vinegar, and creatine. I wanted to wait to see if the ginger shot did anything for the metabolism, but I don't really feel anything from it. Still gonna keep trying it, but apple cider vinegar for digestion, creatine for brain and muscle health, and then Baja Gold sea salt for electrolyte replenishing. Ooh, I think having the ginger shot first made that one a lot easier. Next two supplements I'm taking are saffron extract and L-theanine. Since I'm drinking coffee, L-theanine is a great add-on to that. I take about 200 milligrams of it, and it basically helps with relaxation and focus. I find that I don't get the jitters or the anxiety that comes with coffee. I just get the benefits of energy and focus. L-theanine is great for that. Saffron extract boosts positive mood levels. Gonna eat this and then head to the gym. Now, just plugging this meal into my MyFitnessPal, I realized that I'm gonna need a protein shake on the side because just this was only like 31 grams of protein. Since adding that 2 scoops of protein powder, the total protein for this meal is 79 grams, 52 grams of carbohydrates, and 26 grams of fat, totaling out to 757 calories. And last night I was playing around with some fasting apps. As I said, I'm going to start doing intermittent fasting on a set schedule. And I remember this app that I used to use when I did a lot of fasting called Zero, Zero. And so I downloaded that app. But I'm going to start, I think, just with 16 hours of fasting and 8 hours of eating and see how that goes. Because I do have a lot of protein. I am in a caloric deficit, and so I don't want to prohibit myself from getting all of my protein in, which is where a lot of people in studies that I've read is the biggest fault of fasting and intermittent fasting, is that people don't eat enough protein and then they lose just a bunch of muscle mass. That won't be me. You got the wrong guy, pal. If you don't have a program for the gym, get one. This one is starting off with 15 minutes of cardio. Just wanted to warm up the heart rate and just get a sweat going. And then I started off with some close grip, seated cable horizontal rows. I did 4 sets of 10 reps on this. And then I moved on to an incline dumbbell chest press, starting with 50s, ending with 80s, going 10 reps, and really just trying to control the whole movement throughout. I think really controlling the lowering of the weight works the muscle fibers a lot harder. And then I went on to single arm landmine half press. I do these, but if I ever need a reminder, I have every single exercise that I do recorded already in the app. So it just reminds me of some form and just, even the offhand squeezing of the fist. If you're ever lifting something heavy, squeezing that offhand can really help with moving a lot more weight. There's some strong men that do it, even holding a tennis ball or a lacrosse ball in their hand. I moved on to a wide grip lat pull down for 3 sets of 10 reps, going as heavy as I could where I could still get a full squeeze in the pull. To finish off the chest, I did 3 sets of 15 reps on some cable chest flies. I like it above a little bit more and just really focus on squeezing the pectacles together on the end of every rep. Finish the shoulders off with some single arm cable lateral raises. The lateral raise machine was taken at the time, so I did 4 sets and really just try to lift with the elbow and try and really target that medial delt, not letting the traps take over. Finished the workout strength wise with some weighted cable crunches. Did 3 sets of 20 reps. The cable stack only went up to 97.5 pounds. Yes, I could put a weight plate on it, but the pin, I don't know, just seemed a little janky. I just tried to make sure I was squeezing my abs and not going too far up where it was hurting my lower back. Walked for another 15 minutes on incline and ended up burning 1,300 calories in an hour and 46 minutes, and 761 of that was during strength training. One of the most important things that I do post-workout is actually doing the liquid IV and electrolytes. I used to just drink water, but it's just so important with how much I sweat in the workouts that water itself is not going to replenish what my body needs. That's why the electrolytes with potassium, salt, all the other stuff is actually going to cling onto my body instead of just taking more water in that I'm going to pee out and it's not being filtered the right way to replenish fully and recover the right way. Next, I'm stopping by Costco to get a full rundown, and honestly, pushing a cart around Costco is one of the best ways to build patience. These people just stop at every sample market, and I don't go to a single sample thing. I don't know, I'm probably in the minority, but I just can't stand stopping by. But every time I leave and I get to see this, just like beautiful mountains, and it repairs me every time. And this trip was a full trunk load. Let me tell you, the second workout buried my blood sugar. So I did stop by Panda just to get some high protein, clean eats. And then I got home and unpacked everything. I got some turkey, some chicken, black coffee. I got fruit, chicken sausage, these new goodles, and restocked on all the hydration stuff as well with the Gatorade Zeros and water bottles. One of the best things that I've added in that box you can see on the counter is glass Tupperware. I do not like plastic in anything, and especially heating up in the microwave releases these toxins that I've looked into prior, but glass Tupperware is the way to go, people. Took about an hour to unpack everything, but we made it through. For dinner, I am having some Irish stew. Costco sells this by the box, and in 1 cup, there's 230 calories, 20 grams of carbs, 24 grams of protein. So basically 2 cups, I will get 50 grams of protein in this. And doesn't that just look freaking good on the box? And I've had this before, and it looks just as good as cooked or heated up. So I was doing some research on fasting, intermittent fasting, and yesterday I had mentioned wanting to add that in as well as a full day fast. One of you commented, made a really good point about keeping it time restricted and like very strategic. So throughout February, I'm going to just do intermittent fasting. I'm gonna start with today a 16-hour window where I'm fasting, and then 8-hour window of where I eat all my food. And then I'll progress to 18 hours of fasting, 6 hours of an eating window. I was listening to Andrew Huberman, who is like a neuroscientist and ophthalmologist from Stanford, has a big podcast, and he basically gave 2 foundational rules to intermittent fasting. At the very minimum, wait an hour to 2 hours after waking up to eat the first meal, and stop eating and stop drinking anything with calories 3 hours, ideally, before falling asleep. I already pretty much do that every time, but not eating an hour after waking up, that's 1 hour. Not eating 3 hours before bed, that's 4 hours. And then say 8 hours of sleep, that is 12 hours. 12-hour eating window is still, too much. So I think the 16 hours, adding 4 hours to that window, and then progressing to 18 hours is going to be huge. It's also just a great thing having my fridge stocked. And I've been very intentional on not adding snacks into my house. So it's really just stuff around meals. And I only classify meals as like things where I'm intentionally building protein around them. Like even protein snacks, I do not like having in the house. I think snacking and just keeping the blood sugar like consistently bouncing is just not a good idea for staying according to diet and hunger satiation and all the things that come with that. And literally just buying like essentials with some premium stuff, but just all food, like no junk food, nothing. Just like stuff I actually need to cook with, and then a couple like pre-made things like this stew. Costco bill was $546.41. Absolutely insane. Can we please fix this rising cost on the necessity things to eat? But the other thing is that I go to Costco like once, maybe twice a month, and I do like 90%, maybe even more of my shopping there. While walking around Costco today, I think it's just that time-old tale. I don't know if you guys have heard this before, but like if you're trying to eat healthy, just stay on the outside of the grocery store. Same thing with Costco. It was just like, I realized I never go into like the middle part of the store because it's clothes. And that's where all the junk food and snacks and games and BS are. And so if you guys are on your health journey and grocery shopping, like there's maybe like the spice aisle and condiment aisle for cooking stuff, and that's about it. That's really all you need on the inside of the store. The outside ring of the store is going to be where the healthy fats are, the dairy products, the healthy meats, the veggie section, and those are the prime, should be 99% of the grocery shopping anyways. So just a good rule of thumb is don't enter the ugly zone, because everything in the middle makes you ugly. Here's how your boy slept last night. So 8 hours and 13 minutes total. 1 minute awake, super great. Hour 44 minutes of REM, 5 hours and 40 minutes of core sleep, and then 49 minutes of deep sleep, and then 45 minimum lowest heart rate. Really good. I am noticing on days that I train really hard, like today was a long training day, it is a lot higher of a resting heart rate. Today my heart rate is resting at 70. Most days it's be like around 60, but today I went pretty hard for a while in the gym. It says on my watch at least active is 1,700 calories burned, which they're always approximately off, but compared to what I usually burn, that is like 300 to 400 higher than my watch normally says, and I usually get like 75 active minutes, and I'm at 116. Apple Watches, trackers, people leave comments about them. My most viewed video on this channel actually is me comparing all of the fitness trackers that I've ever watched or used, and they all are like 10 to 20% inaccurate. The video I actually watched it the other day, and it still holds true. The Oura Ring, the Whoop, the Garmin, and the Apple Watch Ultra that I have right here. I wouldn't count on them just based off the numbers, but like consistently looking at the numbers and seeing a pattern of how much I'm burning, the standing. And I've compared the Oura and my Apple Watch. I can wear them at the same time, and similar readings on sleep. And my thing is just do the stuff and don't check the sleep metrics as soon as I wake up, because I know that that can play like a mental factor into how I feel, what I maybe will push in the gym or not, and that sort of thing. And I've just found it better to like just check later in the day, hours and hours into me already like accomplishing and conquering the day. Just a small mental hack that I noticed I was getting too obsessed on the numbers and basing my day off of it, but that's it. I'm running through all these different type of cans, Poppy, Bloom. I can't remember the name of the ones that I usually get, but whatever those are is probably third place. This one is second place, and I'd say Poppy is first place in terms of flavor, because a lot of them put high carbonation, low flavor because they're healthier. And Poppy's is the one where I taste the flavor the most and get the carbonation. And they're all like super low calorie. This one's only 20 calories. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching so much. Hope this helped you. And I will see you tomorrow. Links in the description for anything that you might need fitness-wise and stuff that I use on this journey. And yeah, peace.